Greetings everybody. Welcome to another Q&A meeting. If you have any question, please send them in one at a time. Please let me know if the audio is okay. And if this is your first time to join, please let me know where you come from. I'll be here for about 1 hour, so you can send them the question in one at a time, please. I'll start with the first comment from Kenneth Tan Ki Bok. Greetings. Ajahn, may you be well and happy. Thank you. Ya Chanicha. Sadhu. Gagnian Soul. Greeting Tan Ajahn. May Tan Ajahn be well and healthy. Thank you. B. Lim. Suki Hotu Ajahn. Thank you. Saying greetings. Ajahn and everyone. The audio and visual are fine. Kenneth Hunt. Good morning, Tan Ajahn. You are clear. Thank you. Check Ling Tan. Greetings, dear Tan Ajahn. You are clear. Thank you. Kwan Patum Napa. Sadhu. Christine Kutkowski. Hello. Hello to you. Meta Lo. Greetings from Malaysia. Ajahn, sound clear. Patty Pramsuwong. Namaskaran, Tan Ajahn. Greetings from Bangkok. Sound and video are clear. Thank you. Terence T.H. Lee. Greetings from Singapore. Thanks to Tan Ajahn for your time in teaching the Dhamma. You're welcome. Kia Lim, Sadhu, Sadhu. Okay. So far, no question yet. Just greetings. Ui Pohu. Pohua. Greetings from Penang, Malaysia. May Ajahn be well and happy. Thank you. And greetings to you. Yo SC Sadhu Tan Ajahn. Thank you for your teaching. So far, no teaching yet. Just greeting. Okay, here comes first question from Anura Ramya, New Zealand. In the book of 8 in Anguttara Nikaya, the 65th Sutta, overcoming, explain about 8 bases of overcoming. Could you please explain this in detail, especially the last 6 bases? How could someone who is not perceive of forms internally can see form externally? According to the sutta, he can see form externally limited, measureless, blue ones, yellow ones, red ones, white ones. This question is beyond my scope, I'm afraid. I haven't read the sutta myself, so I don't think I can give you the answer. So I'm sorry, I have to say I don't know. Chi Chin Chuan, good day to you, Ajahn. May all be happy and free from suffering. Thank you. Kilium, Pante, may I know how to practice to avoid breaking any of the precepts. You have to be mindful before you say or do anything. You have to know what you are thinking first. If you are thinking about breaking the precept, then you should stop thinking about it. Then you would not break the precept. So mindfulness is the important key to keep your precepts. Try to develop mindfulness, and you will be able to see your thoughts more clearly. And when you start thinking about breaking the precept, then you can steer the thought away from that, from breaking the precept. And you won't have to break the precept. So try to develop mindfulness as much as possible. From the time you get up to the time you go to sleep, try to stay mindful with an object such as your body. Keep focused on your body movement all the time. Don't let your mind go elsewhere. Then you'll start to see the thoughts. Then when the thoughts start to go in the way of breaking the precept, then you can stop it. Sakitayan, greetings from Indonesia. May Ajahn stay well and healthy. Thank you. Chu Jin, good afternoon and my respect to Tan Ajahn. Happy to be in your session again. Thank you. Kenneth, Kwan Lee Man, dear Ajahn, with respect, is there a knowing within the knowing element, just like a big boss being the scene, behind the scene? That's the knowing element. It's the same knowing. It's just knowing that know what is going on, know what the mind is thinking, know what the mind is perceiving, know what the mind is feeling, and know what the consciousness is connecting to. There's only one knowing in the knowing element. Terry Shi, Sawadee Ajahn, Sadhu Sadhu. So beautiful to see the Pintapata this morning online, and the children giving Ajahn warm hug, Sadhu Sadhu, with metta from Singapore. Thank you. Chu Chin, sorry, I'm from Malaysia. Okay. Sondong, Honde, Sadhu, Sadhu. Im Bun Chu, Sadhu, Sadhu. Bayok, Namaskaran Ajahn. Sadhu. Im Bun Chu, Sadhu. Catherine Wen, greetings from Myanmar, Sadhu, Sadhu. Colonel Kennedy, Mandami Ajahn, what are 7 most important things must parents teach their children? What are 7 most important things parents can give their children? I don't know. I haven't read this sutta myself either, so I don't know. Basically, parents should give their children love and compassion and knowledge. Teach them the right knowledge so they know how to go about in a right way. But I cannot answer this question also, I'm sorry. Prangsad JW, good afternoon, Tan Prajan. Thank you for your kind advice. Let's start from today. Every Sunday will be my holy day. Rangalai, Satu. Ring Sam, I'm sorry. Wong Sam, Ajahn, may I know the online of the origins of Buddha, of Bhutto, which come from your thoughts, the origin of Bhutto. You keep reciting Bhutto by thinking. When you think Bhutto, that's where Bhutto comes from, as far as I understand your question. Terry Shi, may Ajahn have a healthy, well, peaceful, and happy life. May the Triple Gem be the guide for life for all until we attain the final bliss of Nibbana. Thank you. Ki Liam, thanks Ante for answering my question. Satu, Satu. Inilam, Satu. Walai Pon, กราบนมัสการท่านอาจารย์ from Bangkok. Satu. Kenneth Hunt, dear ท่านอาจารย์ is Pu Tu in Thai, as in the name of the school of the one who knows, with the knowing element. Yes, it's Puru. I think you misspell the word Ru. It should be RHU. PHU, RHU. Puru means the one who knows. Yes, the name of the school comes from the word the knowing element. Puru, one who knows. JB Hill, dear Pante, good day to you. Thank you. Rambo San Chan, Satu, Satu. Kenneth Hunt, Puru, that's right, Puru. Jenny Lim, Satu, Satu. Cecilia Wong, Satu, Satu, ท่านอาจารย์ Terry Shi, with great respect to Ajahn, when we do sitting meditation, do we recite the Buddha? Do we recite Buddha while being mindful of our breath in and out simultaneously? Or just being mindful only of our breath and recite Buddha only when the mindfulness is drifting away from the breath? It depends on what you want. You can do either way, really. You can just merely watching the breath without reciting Buddha, or you can recite Buddha without watching the breath. The third option is to watch the breath and also recite Buddha. So you can use these three methods: watching the breath alone, or reciting the Buddha alone, or both, watching the breath and reciting the Buddha. Tan Siu Hong, Satu, Satu, Satu. Anna Goldman, good afternoon, Ajahn. Alvin Lee, good afternoon, Tan Ajahn. Greeting from Kuala Lumpur. Satu, Satu. Thank you. JV Hugh, dear Bante, my mom is at hospital and critical ill because of COVID situation. We can't visit her at hospital. As she is now asleep, what can we do now to help her to reduce her suffering? Can we send her loving kindness with meditation? You can't really do anything for her now. She has to meditate herself. That's why we have to learn to meditate before we get sick. Because when we get sick, then we can then use meditation to curb our suffering, to reduce our suffering, or to get sick without any suffering, if we know how to meditate properly. So we should do or train ourselves in meditation now when we still can. We cannot wait for other people to do it for us. The Buddha said we are our own refuge. No one can help us as far as suffering is concerned. We are the one who create the suffering, and we are the one who can stop the suffering. Cecilia Wong, ขอกรรมาท่านอาจารย์สาธุสาธุ You're welcome. Terry Shi, thank you Ajahn. Cornell Kennedy, Wandami Ajahn. What is the wise action to do if we see spider web on the wall of our house? If we clean the web away, does that mean we demolish the spider house and causing the spider has no place to stay? No, there are other places the spider can rebuild a new house easily. So it's okay to clear the web away. The spider is being told that this is not the place for you to build up your house. This land is my land. You have to go find some other piece of land where there is no occupant. So it's okay to clean the spider web. If you see the spider is still around, then you might have to do it gently, not to hurt the spider. But cleaning away the web is okay, no problem. Chayanit Yamada, good afternoon, Ajahn. Tony Satu, Anna Goldman, good afternoon, Ajahn. Thank you for explaining Dhamma, and I hope you are healthy. Thank you. Say Hui, good afternoon, Ajahn. Thank you. Sapruchai, Satu. Chegling Tan, dear Tan Ajahn, how do one practice Karuna and Mudita? Karuna means compassion or having empathy or sympathy for the suffering of other people. When you see some people who is afflicted with suffering, you help them any way you can. Like right now, there are lots of refugees coming out of the, can't think of the country, the word, but there's a war with Russia right now, Ukraine. So you see people suffering, having no food, no shelter, no medicine, no home. You can send money to the Red Cross, for instance, for the purpose of alleviating suffering, hardship that people of Ukraine is facing right now. This is the way to practice karuna or compassion. As far as mudita is to be joyful with other people's success or happiness. If your sister getting married, for instance, then you should congratulate her. You should tell her that you are happy with her happiness, with her marriage, for instance. So this is mudita. to be happy with other people, happiness or success. Like if you lose, if you play soccer and your team lose, you should congratulate the winning team. You shouldn't get angry at the winning team. You should congratulate them, feel joyful for their win. This is mudita. Wong Sam Ajahn. This month Chinese will be visiting our ancestor grave. Chingming, is it okay or any benefit of doing some chanting? Triple Gem, Metta chanting, transfer of merit, etc. You can offer some form of dana if you like. Instead of buying food to place in the cemetery, rather give your money to charity. Then you can transfer the merit you made from charity to the departed ones. But if you buy food and put it on the grave for an hour, then you take it home and eat, then you don't do anything for the departed. If you want to do something for the deceased, you should do dana. And then once you have given dana, you will have merit. Then you can transfer part of this merit to the departed ones. Mona List, Satu Satu. Silas Lau, greeting from Malaysia, Ajahn. Thank you. Hope Kim Teo, Satu. James Ong, greeting Ajahn. Greetings to you. Saran Jankovic. When we are hungry, we eat, and the unpleasant feeling goes away. When we are in pain, we take a painkiller, and the unpleasant feeling goes away. It seems that we can influence in the arising and ceasing of the Vedana. Is our ability to influence the Vedana temporarily that lures us into the belief of ownership of the conduct. Yes, because there are times when you cannot do anything with the Vedana that comes up. Like when you are in extreme in a situation where you cannot get access to medicine or help, then you cannot influence the Vedana. You cannot get rid of the Vedana. Even if you're in the hospital with medicine and everything, you can still not get rid of the Vedana. You might alleviate it to a certain level with medicine, but still you're gonna have to live with this Vedana. So the Buddha said we cannot always influence the body or the Vedana that arises from the body. And the best way to deal with Vedana is to learn to live with it by using meditation, mindfulness, and wisdom to see that when we try to get rid of Vedana, or when we have the desire to get rid of Vedana, we are creating more suffering. So the only way we can deal with painful feeling of the body is just to remain calm and not reacting to the painful feeling. If our mind has equanimity, our mind will not suffer when we have the painful feeling from the body. When we say ownership of the khandhas, we think that we own the khandhas, but in fact the khandhas are natural phenomena, and they rise and cease according to other influences that sometimes we cannot influence or, or prevent or stop. We just have to learn to live with them, like the weather. The khandhas are like the weather. They come and go of their own influences. Sometimes we can influence them, sometimes we cannot. Yo Fu Chi Satu Satu. Check Ling Tan, dear Ajahn. Dana in the form of service and time given instead of materials, for example, sending food to the elderly home, and the merit be transferred to spiritual beings. I should think so, but since there is no mention in the sutta, the only mention about transferring the merit to the departed is from giving dana of material things to monk. I think there's a sutta in which the king one night experienced some spiritual visitors coming in and creating a lot of scary noise. So he went to ask the Buddha, what was it? And the Buddha said it was the spirit of his former attendant who needs help. And he asked what to do. The Buddha said, give food to the monk. So then you can transfer the merit. So that's the only instance about transferring merit in the sutta mentioned. But if we want to expand this on our own. No one can stop us, I guess. If you say this is another form of charity, another form of dana, I get good feelings from this, I can share it, then you can share it. But to really know whether you can or not is to have contact with the person who you're sending this merit to and ask the person, did you receive my merit or not? If he or she say yes, then you can keep sending him the same type of merit again. Cheng Mei Ling. Dear Ajahn, I would like to consult you on the mental problems I am having right now. I'm being overwhelmed by work, too many to accomplish. My mind cannot rest well even after work, always thinking about work. What can I do? You have to reduce the workload down, that's all. This is common sense. If you work too hard, too much, and you're overloading yourself, then you have to unload the work down to the level where you can deal with it properly. So you have to work less. Then you say you have lots of expenses to pay. Well, then you have to reduce your expenses also, so that you will not be forced to work so hard. The reason why we work so hard sometimes is because we have so much expenses that we have to pay. So we have to work to cover the expense. So you have mental problem. If you want to solve this mental problem, then you have to work less. The way to work less is to spend less. When you spend less money, then you won't have to work so hard to make more money. Sonade. The Ajahn, my dad often said that he has good sati because he knows when he's angry, yet somehow still decides to go along with the anger by unleashing it. I'm confused if this can be called as having sati simply because He is aware of the anger, but still does nothing to stop it. What is the true meaning by sati and sampajanya? Well, sati has many levels of intensity. Sometimes you know what's going on, but you cannot stop what's going on. Then this is low level mindfulness. If you know that you are being angry and you can stop it right away without having to vent it out, then you have stronger mindfulness. If you can prevent anger from appearing at all, that is considered to be the real sati sampajanya. That means you're constantly mindful of your thoughts. As soon as you think about getting angry, you can stop it before it coming up. So there are many levels of mindfulness, intensity of mindfulness, from the lower level to the highest level. Hong Bi Chin, viewing TK Mong from Kelantan. Thank you. Supha Barua Satu Satu. Supha Barua Namo Buddhaya Namo Dhammaya Namo Sanghaya. Thank you. Here's a reply to Chekling Ten question. Ratana Sutta. O being, listen carefully. May your radiant loving kindness to those human beings who by day and night bring offering to you, offer merit to you, and wherefore protect them with diligence. Okay, you have to read it yourself. Eli Hassan, good day, Ajahn. I am thank you by keep practicing as being taught. Satu Satu. Miley LKF, my respect to you, Ajahn. Thank you for your teaching, which are always straight to the point. I understand that we should be mindful from the time we are awake by anchoring to a mantra or observing our bodily movements, so that it is easier for us to be calm when we are doing sitting meditation. Wish to find out if there are any other methods to quickly sharpen our concentration quickly during sitting meditation. Thank you so much. You have to go live in a scary place like in the wild forest or in a cemetery. And this will enhance your mindfulness and concentration greatly. If you are surrounded by normal surroundings, then there's nothing to force you to be more mindful. But if you have to go to stay in some place very scary, very dangerous to your physical well-being, then you are forced to be more mindful, more careful, more concentrating. That's why monks go wandering and practice meditation in the forest alone, because they know that the condition of the forest is much more dangerous than in the monastery. So they have to be much more mindful of their movement. Chong Mai Leng, dear Ajahn, thank you for your advice. Satu Satu. Oranud, good afternoon, Ajahn. Greeting from San Jose, California. Greetings to you. Yo Fu Ti. Ajahn, referring to the question by Sonade. Ajahn mentioned about level of sati. How about samadhi? Can it relate to level of samadhi as well? Definitely. The stronger the mindfulness is, then the deeper and the calmer will samadhi be, and the duration can be longer also. Samadhi is the consequence of mindfulness. The stronger the mindfulness, the stronger the samadhi. Nabeki Namasagan Ajahn. Sunny Lim, good day Ajahn. Thanks so much for teaching us how to Soran Jangovich. In Buddhist teaching, we learn to eat food not for beautification or sense pleasure, but only to stay alive and healthy, to be able to know the Dhamma and to live the holy life. The Buddha says in the Patanamasa Sutta that we should eat food like we would eat the flesh of our own beloved child in order to develop dispassion about all sense pleasure. Does that apply also to those who do not know what the Dhamma really is? Does that apply also to those who do not know what the Dhamma really is? If they don't know the Dhamma, then they don't know they don't know the teaching of the Buddha. So they will then go on eating for the sake of pleasure. This is usually the teaching the Buddha teaches the monk. Monks are much more closer to the Dhamma and really want to follow the Dhamma teaching. But for other people, I think it's not for them because they're not yet at the level where they can practice at this level. Kevin Lee, good afternoon, Ajahn. Greeting from Sunshine Coast, Queensland, Australia. I have recently came across the teaching of other spiritual teachers who encourage this identification of the body and the thinking mind from pure awareness. Once this is achieved, is there anything else that is needed to be done on the path toward Nibbana? Yes, the next level is to stop all cravings, all type of cravings, or tanha, kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha, craving for sensual pleasure, craving for beings, and craving for not being. This is the goal of practice, really. Not just the separation of the body from the mind, but to stop all craving that keep arising in the mind. Cornell Kennedy, Vandami Ajahn, what is your definition of a high performance lay person? Whether you are a lay person or a monk, this is the same high performance. High performance means you are mindful from the time you get up to the time you go to sleep. This is considered to be high performance. Whether you are a lay person or a monk, it is measured the same way, no different. Checkling time. Dear Ajahn, the Buddha talked about the 8 worldly winds and our minds only want happiness, gain praise and fame. How to teach the mind to accept sadness, loss, blame, and defame. By seeing the impermanent nature of happiness, gain, praise, and fame, that they are not permanent, they are temporary. You can be happy today and tomorrow you can be unhappy. Look at the people in Ukraine and teach yourself the nature of this four worldly winds. See, look at the people in Ukraine. Now the happiness they used to have is no longer there. The gain they used to have is no longer there. The praise and fame they had no longer with them. So this can happen to anyone, anytime, without telling us in advance. So we have to constantly reflect and teach our mind that this is something that can happen, and it will happen sooner or later. Later means when we die, we lose everything anyway. So you have to constantly thinking about death, thinking about sickness, thinking about hardship that can arise at any time in our life. Because this is the nature of life, anicca, impermanent. May Uwe Ajahn during meditation, why my rising and falling sometimes not clear? Because your mindfulness is not strong enough, so you cannot see the rising and falling of the breath clearly. Your mindfulness is still not strong enough. Jeffrey Scott White, Sadhu Sadhu. Thank you. Enilam, Sadhu Sadhu. Saran Jakovic. How is it possible make use of Samma Samadhi if we have not yet gained Samma Titi? Don't we first need to gain the right view for the development of Samadhi? Yes, but you have to understand that Samma Ditti also have many different levels. Entrance level, intermediate level, and highest level. The entrance level is to see that the teaching of the Buddha is something that we have to follow. Once we have this, then we can then practice. And once we practice, then we'll have developed into a higher level of samadhi. And then we will then practice more, harder. The more we see the result we get from our practice, then we're getting higher level of samadhi, which will then inspire us to practice harder. So yes, at the entrance level, you need to study the teaching of the Buddha. Then you will get the entrance level of samadhi, which direct us to practice dana, sila, and pavana. And when we start to practice, then we'll see the result from practice. Then this will give us a higher level of samadhi, which will inspire us to practice harder, so that we can get better, more result from our practice. So samadhi has many levels, and other factors also follow suit. The higher the level of samadhi, the higher level of the other noble 8 factors. Ten King Form, good afternoon, Ajahn. Thank you and Sadhu for your teaching through the online program Dhamma for the asking. You're welcome. Corinne Kaur, good afternoon, Ajahn. Good afternoon to you. Kate Sarah, Sadhu Sadhu. We can look at the Noble Eightfold Path like a spiral ring. It keeps come around and go up higher and higher. The higher the samadhi, the higher will be the other factors. All the factors follow the samadhi. Samadhi is like the leader in the crowd of 8. The other 7 are the follower of samadhi. The higher the samadhi, then the higher will be the other practices. like a spiral spring coil. It goes round and round, but move up higher and higher until to the highest level. Corinne called, good afternoon, Ajahn. Kate, Sarah, Satu, Satu. We still have about 14 more minutes left in the meeting, so you can still send in your question. If you're typing them now, we can continue on typing. Right now we have about 56 people online watching live with us together. This is a small classroom, only for the really dedicated people who are really interested in the Dhamma practice will join this room. Soran Jakovich, Satu. Evelyn Hall, dear Ajahn, my mom regularly say hurtful things to me since I was young. It affects me a lot whenever she does that. How should I deal with this? Thank you. You should develop equanimity by practice mindfulness and meditation. The more you practice mindfulness and meditation, the more equanimity you will have. Then the less you will be affected by what other people say. So try to develop mindfulness all the time and try to sit and meditate for as much as possible. And you'll find that you will become less affected by what other people say or do. Right now your mind is very sensitive to other people's action. So you have to make it less sensitive by mindfulness and meditation. The more you meditate, the more mindful you have, then the more equanimity you will have, then the less sensitive you will have toward other people's action. This is the only way. So start developing mindfulness from the time you get up to the time you go to sleep. You can either keep reciting a mantra like Bhutto, Bhutto, or some other mantra if you like. You can say stop thinking, don't think, don't think. You can say Bhutto, you can say Dhammo, you can say Sangho. Just stop the mind from thinking, because by thinking the mind will react. If the mind doesn't think, then it will not react. So keep teaching the mind to recite a mantra or be mindful of what your body is doing. Don't let the mind think about other things. If you can keep on doing this, when you meditate, your mind will become calm very quickly and peacefully, and you'll find that you have more equanimity from your meditation. Okay, let me take a drink. Soran Jankovic, is it the unpleasant Vedana that causes our suffering, or is it rather our resistance to the unpleasant Vedana that causes dukkha? Our resistance, our aversion to the unpleasant feeling that create dukkha, not the unpleasant feeling. If we don't react to this unpleasant feeling by having mindfulness and wisdom and have equanimity, then the unpleasant feeling cannot cause any suffering in our mind. Our suffering caused in the mind caused by our own desire or our aversion, our negative desire, not wanting to face this unpleasant feeling. Because vipawa tanha, cravings for not being, craving for the not being of the unpleasant feeling, the desire to get rid of this unpleasant vedana that cause dukkha in our mind. If we can stop this craving, then the suffering will not arise. Even though the unpleasant feeling still remain, it cannot cause any harm to the mind. The mind can remain undisturbed. The mind can remain calm and peaceful and happy, even in the presence of unpleasant vedana. Kwan Liman, dear Ajahn, in the temple or monastery, there are a lot of ants. I feel hesitate to wash the floor, but just to sweep it. So, is there any way to clean the floor of the monastery without hurting these insects? First, you must somehow prevent the insects, the insects or the ants from coming in to the place where you're gonna wash or clean. Once you can stop them, then you can clean. Otherwise, you can just clean the part that won't bother or hurt them, and the part that will hurt them, you just don't do it. So Nade, dear Ajahn, how do we recognize great masters whom we can fully trust, like you did with Longta Maharu? I've heard sometime that Longta himself mentioned that he was not the teacher for everyone, as he's only a teacher for certain people. Does this mean that despite having met a great teacher, there is still a need for past karmic connection to successfully train under him or her? Well, sometimes we have preference. We like certain type of people and we don't like certain type of people. Or we like certain type of teaching and not certain type of teaching. And different people, different teachers have different characters, have different way of teaching. So you might meet an enlightened teacher who might not be suitable for you. So you might have to look for someone who is more suitable for you. Or unless if you truly believe that this person is an enlightened teacher, and then you want, even though you don't like his way of teaching, his style, but you try to accept the way he is, and just look at the teaching itself, not the style or the appearance. Look at the teaching itself. Then you can still benefit from meeting an enlightened teacher if you truly think that he is enlightened and he can help you. And then you just go about study his teaching and follow his teaching. And if you find that it is helpful to you, then you can stick with that teacher, even though you find his character or his style of teaching might not suit you, but you still can ignore this and just separate the style from the teaching. If the teaching can help you, even though the style doesn't suit you, ignore the style, just stick to the teaching. Chuk Boilo, Sadhu, Sadhu. New Pirasawat, Sadhu, Sadhu. Okay. When we look for a teacher, try to look at the teaching, not at the not at the not at the style or appearance of a teacher. Sometimes he might not appeal to you, but if the teaching can help you, then you can benefit from this teacher. So try to look at the teaching itself, not the appearance or the style of teaching. Chuk boy low, satu satu. Okay. Well, we have about 3.5 minutes left before we close this meeting. If you're still typing your question, you can still send it in. Finish typing it and send it in. If you haven't yet typed your question, I think you will have to wait until next time, because I'll be terminating this meeting pretty soon, in about 3 minutes. Patty Pramsawong, thank you for spending your time for us. You're welcome. Saran Jakovic, what is your take on the use of urine for medicine, as many monks use it? I have never used it before, but if I have to, I think I can use it, I can take it. But if there's no real reason for taking it, then I don't take it. But I have no aversion, because I understand that it works for some type of illness. And if you're ill and you can use it to cure your illness, then it's okay. There's nothing wrong with urine. Everybody has urine, right? It comes from your body. And you just take it back into the body with added medicinal value, because you just don't drink pure urine. You use urine as a mixed with some type of fruit to extract the medicine from the fruit, and you then drink that drink to help alleviate your illness. But in the modern day, we have so much medicine already, so we don't really need to use urine for medicine. Jenny Lim, thank you. Evelyn Ho, my mother has many negative thoughts, but she does not realize it. How do I help her see it? Only when she asks you. If she don't ask you, then there's nothing you can do anything about it. If she asks her if she has anything wrong, then you can tell her. But if she doesn't ask you, then you cannot tell her, because she can get angry at you. So it's better just to leave her alone. Jenny Ong, Satu Satu. EOSC, much gratitude to Thanajan. Well, looks like the time is almost over, so I will have to leave you now at this time. Thank you very much for your participation in this meeting. I hope it benefits you somewhat and help you advance in your practice. In the meantime, please stay safe, stay mindful, and keep on practicing. And if all goes well, I'll see you again next week at about the same time. Thank you and goodbye.